There we go. Okay, here we go. Gonna check out the hairstyles. What do you think of this one, eh? This one's not too bad. Oh, good evening. Look at this hairstyle. Oh. Uh-oh. What's going on, Sneakers? Ooh, look. A little waifu style, maybe? Oh. Looking. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. I used to work for a guy who had hair exactly like this. It was weird. Ooh, little Daenerys? Little Daenerys Targaryen? Oh. Okay. This has gotta be just like... This is asset pack stuff, right? Someone is just buying these hairstyles. Yes, no cam is intentional. I want full focus to be on the hairstyles. Okay, let's get back to the one that I like. This one is fine. Guys, hi. Look at this. Look at this. PvE mode has come early. PvE mode. I love all of them. I'm just gonna jump in and then we'll talk about what this is. This is a game called Expedition into Darkness. And it's an upcoming PvE only dungeon crawler, dungeon extraction game. You play with up to 5 of your friends. And right now it's only like the playtest, the alpha playtest. You want me to join without any voice chat? Hop in, Two Hands. I was gonna do two quick raids, and I thought I was gonna go in quickly, and then I was probably gonna just try to solo the boss. Let's save it, Two Hands. There'll be other opportunities, I'm sure, but thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna join myself. I just want to show off what it looks like. And then I'm gonna do some quick crafting. I'll show the bow. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go die to the creepy guy. Look at this. Look at it. I've got a candle on my helmet. Right? Look at this one. I'm addicted. Me too. I just got another blacksmith hammer. How's it going, Charlie? I owe you a dividend, buddy. You stick around. Look at this. I have a candle on my helmet. I got a little lantern on my belt. Right? Quite nice. There's chests you can loot, right? A few things here I'm not that interested in. I'm looking for a pommel. I need a pommel. I need the bottom of a sword. These are things that are nice. Ooh, this is a nice axe head. I'll take this. Just like Tarkov, there's bags. And you can put bags inside of bags, and it's really easy to like open multiple bags. You get all this cool storage. So you run around, you open chests, you get stuff, okay? And then it's kind of like Diablo, where you can go as far as you want, but as soon as you've had enough, you just go back to the beginning. You just go back to where you started from, and you leave the dungeon. The hell am I watching? This is Expedition into Darkness. This is a new PvE only extraction game coming out this year. This is a free alpha. You can get this yourself and play this yourself. Totally free. It's very shallow for the time being. It's kind of buggy. But it shows real promise. PvE mode came early. You want to see some craziness? Here we go. Check this out. I'm going to pull the lever. Be careful, because this is going to sound scuffed. Okay, it's not going to sound awesome. Uh-oh. I got a block. I got a shield. Oh, mama. We got zombies. Not taking damage. No damage. Beat up these zombie types. Scuffed audio. Sorry about that. Look how creepy. I was playing this too late last night, and I had bad dreams. That's how you know it's good. When the game gives you bad dreams, you know it's good. The blocking works great. You got a little shove. You have a dash. You have a thrust. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like, you know, I guess some people would call this like a horde game, where like you're fighting a ton of mobs. I've gotten some experience, so I'm not taking a lot of damage, but when I first started playing, your armor sucks and you don't know what's up. But I've got the hang of it now. I can clear those guys by myself. I wanna find a pommel. Ooh, what the heck is this? Look at the size of this backpack. I can fit my whole other backpack in this backpack. Are you kidding? Yes. Look at this. Put backpacks inside of backpacks? I've never seen one so large. I got room to spare. That's the biggest backpack I've ever seen. I've never seen. You got the biggest backpack in the game. Streamer privilege, guys. That's streamer. Look at it. It's pretty too. It gets out of the way. Look how big it is. It's like I could carry my dog to the vet. I don't have a dog, but I need a pommel so bad. Okay, we'll do one more door. That's like the best backpack. Oh, baby. Oh, GG, membership ran out. That's okay, Fart. You're gonna miss the roast on the weekend unless you can panhandle for a membership. Or maybe just spend the $3. Ask your mom, Fart. I'm sure your mom's got $3. Come on, guys. Okay, you gotta fight them in choke points. Fight them in choke points like this. Push them back. Alright, I got a thrust. Guys, and the mobs scale with how many people are in your party. So we were playing this with 5 people last night. There was like 50 of these creepy zombie mobs. It was a hot mess. Get in here. Choke point is clutch. Shields that work, clutch. I hit the wall. You really have to be careful with your positioning. You can definitely hit the wall and interrupt yourself. The 5-person zombie hordes were awesome. Lyrebird, Two Hands, Zyozide, Moss, and myself went dungeon diving. You know, those, like, the first time you try a game is something so special. We had no idea. There's no map, right? There's no map. You have to remember where you're going. The game is bloody scary. I'm a little bit used to it now. Oh, the guys are still running around. Look at them. Look at it. Look how creepy it is. Coming out of nowhere. The music is still playing. That means there's another guy over here. I got bad dreams. Dudes, here he is. He gets stuck on the wall. I had bad dreams. That's how you know it's good. Okay, I'm gonna hit these chests. I'm gonna get out of here. Then I'm gonna put on some crappier gear, and I'm gonna fight a mini-boss, and you can watch me get my butt kicked. A warbow, another one. We'll put it on. Guys, you can rotate items in your inventory. There's quivers. There's bloody quivers in the game. Ogre coming out of the darkness genuinely scared me. Yes. I need a pommel, but I didn't get one. It's okay. We'll get out of here. We'll change our kit. We'll drop back in. Looks great, doesn't it? Can you tie 10 warbows together to make a shield? No, but I got this sweet kite shield. Right? Sweet. Finally, a dungeon extraction unit that doesn't use the same models as Dark and Darker. Now, that said, I think there is a lot of purchased assets for this game, but it feels good. That's what matters. Okay, I've got a few minutes before the Ironmace devcast kicks off. Let's get organized here. I was not expecting to find this massive backpack. Can I even fit these things? Okay, so let's take a look here. You get like all these crates. You can like put things inside of, you know, I've got all this. I get this medical crate. Got this equipment locker. You got all these bags, right? I'm keeping all of my, like... The crafting in this game is so cool. You get, like, all these components for helmets. Like, the helmet I'm wearing, it's got a component for, like, earpieces, right? Ear guards. It's got this, like, this helmet candle attachment, so I don't need to carry a torch. So cool. Okay, time is short, though. I have so many things. I want to gear down, I guess. I need to. So, let's do this quickly. On my crossbow, I can put on... I got this windlass. So here's a good example. My crossbow, I can put on a windlass draw assist. Maybe I can't. Maybe it doesn't fit there. I would gift you all a membership, but I'm so... No worries. Don't worry about Fart. Fart's fine. Fart will be fine. Fart's mom will come in at the last minute. No worries. Don't worry about him. Just enjoy. Just enjoy. I got a blacksmith hammer. Man, I got this awesome falchion blade, and I want to make a falchion. Very Tarkov-like. I think so. I never played Tarkov, but I imagine this is something so similar. Anyway, I have all these awesome backpacks. I don't want to risk them. And so, maybe what I'll do is I'll just put this backpack in this backpack. Okay. And I'll take this off. Do I even have space to store this? I barely do. I barely do. I got all these, like, ingots down here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll open this one. And I'll open this one. And I'll quickly transfer ore and ingots over here. I love being organized. I spent, like, probably 2 hours last night just organizing my bags to keep my inventory nice and tidy. That's how I spent my time. Okay, got a little bit of space to work with here. Okay, cool. I got these extra bags. Can I put this in here? I can. Okay, I got a torch. Oh, Fart's mom appreciation message. Uh-huh. Okay, I don't have too much time for all this. What do I want to do? I don't want to lose these nice side bags. I'm going to take this off. Taking this off. Okay. Messenger bag? Sure. I'll bring a messenger bag. I don't mind. Oh, I can't fit it. I can't. You can put, like, in case I get in the anvil, I'm going to put this bag inside this other bag. Okay? You put bags inside of bags, guys. That's how it works. Let me think about my armor here. Because I got stuff that I like and stuff that I don't really care about. For example, this penis helm, I don't care about. We'll put it on. Hoe brick, blue iron versus bronze. Do I even have the space to take this off? Bloody heck, I don't. I could maybe fit this backpack inside of here. Let's save the silver ore. Let's destroy this copper ore. I don't really care about it. And I'm putting a backpack inside this backpack. Good. Now I got a little more space to work. I can take off some stuff. I can put on some stuff. This is taking way too long. The rest of this, I got a basic coif. Okay. Good. And chest protectors. Let's take off my my leg guards. Okay. I need to put on a quiver. Guys, there's quivers in this game. Look, quivers. Okay, got a quiver. And then check this out. You can build your own arrows. So I've got these stalks, and I open it up, and it's already got some fletchings. Maybe the other stalk then. We'll do this one. Okay, you put on the feathers. Maybe I have to take it out of the bag first. Stalk, feathers, arrowhead. All right, so here's the stalk. Fletchings? Arrowhead? Weird. Weird. Why doesn't that work? No matter. I've got some arrows. That's okay. But you can build arrows. You can build swords, right? So for this weapon crate, I've got this, like, falchion blade, right? And I can open up a handle, and I can put the blade on the handle. And I put the crossguard on. I put the pommel on, and you make your own swords. So cool. Anyway, what do I want here? I want to bring this weapon. Okay, we'll take this one. I made this myself. Can I inspect it? How do I... There's like a way to, like, look at it. Maybe it's a configure? Yeah. Cool. Little arming sword. It's so cool. I should probably do the falchion. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the falchion. I made this falchion myself. It's a big risk, but we're going for it. Okay. I got my shield. Got my falchion. I'm gonna die, guys. This is gonna kill me for sure. I don't want to miss the start of the devcast, though. Okay, we're not risking too much. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Get our butt kicked, shall we? Okay, check out how awesome it looks. Man. I got my quiver. Yeah, I look like a proper adventurer, right? I look like a proper adventurer. I got everything. Let's goon. Got a big falchion. This thing slaps. Let me just check these, because you have to loot goblin. But I'm beelining for the big boy. Oh, look at the building supplies. Of course. Right? Of course. Another hemo. Health pot. Anything else that's good? Not really. Arcane supplies? I should probably get those too. Man, of course I'm gonna die the time I spawn in. Building supplies are like how you progress in the game. Let's do these guys really quick. Let's do the arrow. Ready? Check this out. Little warbow action. Bang. Bang. The warbow is absolutely a monster. We're gonna use that on the big boy. You'll see. Come on. Come on, you little mucks. Let's go. Let's go. You gave me bad dreams, but you're nothing versus my falchion. You're nothing. I'm gonna give you. Ranged meta shakes my head. Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, warbows are no joke, right? It is a warbow. What do you think the draw weight is on it? Is it like a... What's unrealistic? Is it like a 150-pound draw weight? Is that crazy? 120-pound draw weight? 90-pound? What's realistic? What's not realistic? I don't know anything about draw weights. Let's check this. Need a pommel. Blue steel, great helm. 47%. It's my armor. 49%. We'll hold it, though. Let me hold that. Where am I going to put this? We're good. Not much here. Heater shield, we're good. You can spend so much time just looting up, but we're here to die. We're on a mission to get our butt kicked. Right, 175 to 2. So my 190 was not far-fetched. No bow X looks cool. That's all I need to know. Okay, guys. Are you ready? I'm gonna die. Okay. I get one shot at this, and then it's melee time. Okay, there it is. I'm running back. I'm pressing X. We're drawing the bow. Here he comes. I hit him. Maybe two. We hit him. X. Damage in. We're blocking. No, he's mauling me. My armor's helping. I don't want to get surrounded here. Blocked him. Ooh. Oh, he's mauling me again. Come on, armor. Gotta rely on your armor. Oh, it's a big swipe. Big damage. I did it! I did it! Solo! I did it! I did. Look at that. That was almost very rude. Look at you. Where are you gonna go? Hey? Now you're scared of me now, guys. I nuked him. The 2 warbow shots, I think, really helped. I really wanted to try that solo. I did it. A knobbed shaft, guys. There's a knobbed shaft in this chest. Give me a pommel. I don't think I got one. That's okay. Let's get out of here. Gold ore for my trouble. We got building supplies. That's all that matters. Brass halberd top blade. Guys, 2 hands was building halberds. It takes like 6 components to build a halberd. Knobbed for your pleasure. Let's get out of here. Let's keep an eye on Twitch. Guys, Expedition into Darkness. It's still a janky-ass alpha, but the promise is there. It felt so good to play with friends and, like, be on the same team and want, like, everyone to survive, right? And, oh, man. If this game kind of follows through on what it's got going, it's going to be a good year, I think. I got half health there. I got mauled a couple times. I think that my chest plate, I got like a breastplate on. I think that probably really helped. If he was digging at my organs. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's get Twitch going. Because we're here for a devcast, right? This is what we're here for. We're here to learn about another PvE experience, aren't we? We'll keep our eyes peeled here. Let me just get settled here. I don't have friends. That's okay. It's okay. You can find people. If you know, hop in the Discord looking for a group. I'm sure people. For sure. Janky combat, cool customization, promising weapon building system. Yes. Agree. Agree with all of those things. I just got the best backpack in the game. Doesn't seem fair. Pop on stream for a second and you get the best backpack. Definitely not fair. Did I put anything in here? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Arcane supplies. I've got... What do I say? Got all these nicely organized... Look at all my bags. Got bags inside of bags. So nicely organized. There's my ore. There's... Destroy this one. Goodbye. Am I too late? No, you're good. Speen. Am I... Very funny. No, you're not too late. Should we do one more quick farming? Quick farm. Gotta fill my bottomless cup before the stream starts. Get in there. Get in there. Should we go until we see a sign of life? We can always just dip out of the dungeon really quick. Really quick. Look at how... Look. It's so cool. I got a heater shield. I don't have any space to rearrange things. That's okay. Maybe I'll put my pants back on. Pant guards. My leg protection. Yeah. That gives me a little more space to maneuver here. Put the heater shield back on. It's a little more channel appropriate. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. A little more nimble. That shield is dope though. Yeah, a lot of things are. A lot of things are. Quite nice. The falchion slaps. Let's see if I can find a pommel. Let's get back in there. Quiver, I still got a lot of bows. Should I keep the bow going? I probably should. I probably should. Okay. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick, quick. Now, it's very shallow, Wicked FPS. There's not much content here. It is just an alpha playtest. Very, very shallow loop. But if you want to get a taste for it, it's free. Expedition into Darkness. It's free. Swedish developer. One guy leading the charge. Small team of maybe 9 people. Gold ore. Need a pommel. Oh, I got a brown... bronze crown pommel. That's what I want. That's what I want. Okay, quick run here. We'll jump back out because we've got the pommel. We can build another falchion. Should I just do that now? We got time. One more wave here. We got time. Let's use the bow again. Let's get it started. Range meta. You gotta watch your stamina. You can't hold the draw forever. You have to let it go. The longer you pull back for, the more damage it does, I assume. Can I get one more shot off here? Yep. One more down here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You gotta block. You gotta shove. You can shove, right? You can stab. You can also, there's a bit of a dash. There's like an evade, which is really helpful. Because you can kind of like hit, and then you can dash back from the front line. It's really, really helpful. I'm just playing solo, so the mob density isn't crazy right now. But you play with like 3 or more people, and there are so many bloody zombies. It's wild. Like, you're gonna lose frames, is how many guys there are. You lose frames. Here we go. Quick loot. Quick looting. Ooh. It's a nice helmet. Oh, another pommel. Excellent. Okay, we got 2. Let's get out of here. 2 pommels. Good enough for me. We're going. We're going. You can sprint. Look at the running animation. I love it. And then there's no map. You have to just remember where you came from. Oh, Wicked has just become an executive board member. Welcome in, Wicked. Awesome. Looks like there's weight behind the attacks. Yeah, and there's little combos you can do. It's nice. Yeah, no map. So you can imagine on a bigger, deeper, like sewer catacomby dungeon. If you don't remember how to get out, you're effed. No friendly fire, thank goodness. No friendly fire. Okay, let's see if we can build a couple of swords, because I really want to show that off too. So we've got these pommels. We've got a weapon crate here. So I've got this heat-treated iron falchion blade. I think some of that streamer luck is rubbing off. I found a coat of plates, a breastplate, a crossbow, building supplies, a magic tome, and a bunch of blue steel upgrades. Wow. GG, 2 hands. Okay. What we want is heated cross grip. I have 2 pommels. Let's do both of these blades. Let's do both of these. Flat cross guards. Okay. So here's how it works. I open my grip. So here's my wooden handle grip, right? And then there you see empty blade, empty pommel, empty crossguard. So I'm going to drag in the falchion blade. No, why doesn't that work? Does it need to be bigger? What if I drag in this little one? No. Weird. This one? Why doesn't that work? Can be attached to 2 things. Let's see. Can I do this crossguard? No. What if... Do I need a bigger one? Let's try my contacts. Maybe my squire will sell me a grip? Back. A grip. Let's go back. Character. Let's check in here. I got grip and a half, maybe? Maybe it needs a bigger grip. So this is a grip and a half, a larger grip. No. Weird. Configure. Apply. Oh, there it worked. I just dragged it on to the handle and it applied itself. So, cool. We have the falchion blade on the handle, which is what I want. And then maybe I can drag the crossguard on. Yep. We got the crossguard, and now let's drag the pommel on. Nice. So here it is. Let's configure. Yes, look at the new falchion I made. Right? And there's kind of customizations you can do, like some of the things you can customize. You have a nice bright handle if you want it. Look at that tesseract pommel. Very nice. Aw, Wicked has gifted a membership. Got baited by fart, maybe. Ooh, what is this game? Seb Cyborg. This is Expedition into Darkness. And right now we are crafting weapons. Let me just put this grip back in my grip bag. So let's try again. So here we've got the heat-treated iron small point blade. And then we've got our wood grip here. Let's drag the blade onto the grip. Okay. And we're going to drag the iron flat crossguard and the bronze pommel. So now we just made this one. And it looks like this. And you get all these different styles of crossguard, different styles of pommel, different blades. And then the blades, they all have different damages. Oh my god. This falchion, cutting 17. Cutting 16.99. So the blade type, the blade material, depending on the material. So heat-treated iron is different than copper, is different than steel, is different than silver, etc. And then the size and shape of the blade will also impact the swing speed, the amount of stamina that's required, etc. I have found this blade. This is crazy. This iron flamberge blade. It's like a two-hander, maybe. I don't think I even have the stuff. Crossguard is here. I don't think I've got a pommel for it, but this could be like a two-hander. It looks like it. It looks like it. Let's see. Configure. Yeah, look at this big, oh, crazy. Can I use it without a pommel? I wonder. Oh, I am as live. Okay, here we go. We're here. I am looking out. I got it here. Okay. Cool. Let me quit out of this game. Thank you. Excellent. We're here. We're here. Maybe not full screen it. Last time we voted no chat there. Okay. And then for today, we've got a little special treat. Dudes, we have a bingo card. Because chances are they're going to be talking about this stuff. So let's talk about the bingo card. What do we have? We know there's going to be announcements. They're talking about what's going to happen next wipe. PvE mode, we all know is coming. What else, though? What else? No water map at wipe. We know that. Maybe only epic loot from PvE? There's a bunch of things we know we don't know, right? Also, let me know if... I don't think SDF's going to be on the call. I think it's just Odin. I don't think it's going to be the devs. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. No devs on call. Because who knows, right? And we'll put empty cup. Empty cup. Okay? Here we go. Let me know if anything here stands out as weird. Let's read it. Let's read it. Delays because of legal. Okay? Leaderboard changes. No water map at wipe. SDF is letting go of control. There's been a revision to the vision. A revised vision. We know blocking sucks. If they confess to knowing blocking sucks, that's one. Very excited for the future of dad. Okay? No devs on the call. PvE only, bosses or raids. If there's special maps or special bosses for PvE only, that's one. We will improve arena. Hopefully, new maps or something. If they acknowledge low player numbers, right? Better mob AI or mob updates in general. PvE mode is the free one. No guild hall at wipe would be sad, right? SDF is the only one who can fix it, if they say that. PvE loot allowed in PvP mode. Nah, the class balance, right? Empty cup, no quivers yet. Monk delayed. We know this, but like I just want to, I'm anticipating that where you're going to say it. 2 to 4 weeks of solo self-found at the beginning of next wipe. If they talk about the bloody gun that's coming, that's here on the list. Only epic loot from PvE. AP, if they talk about any of the AP rewards next wipe. And then if we talk about we're gathering data, right? Pictures of the office construction. No, they already used that one. They already used that one. They can't use that twice. That's not allowed. Anyway, not a bad list. Let's settle in. Thank you for watching the preview of Expedition in the Darkness, because I really hope that becomes something we can really feature on the channel. It's really up my alley. I missed the Tarkov boat, but if Tarkov is anything like that kind of like magazine ammo, gun stock, gun sights, gun grip, kind of like that extra fidelity in crafting is really appealing to me. They'll reskin the office photo. That's funny. Hi, Leo. How are you? Leo Castle is here. Guys, I shut up really quick as soon as they... I'm so polite, right? I don't want to miss any important information off the top. Tarkov is even more in-depth with gun customization. I see. Well, maybe what I just saw in Expedition is just enough for me. Just the right amount of things. A crossguard, a pommel, you know, a grip, a blade, different weapon or metal types. You know, that's good. It's a good start. Oh, you can basically make new guns in Tarkov to an extent. Wow. You just build it up from scratch. How does it compare to Rust? I know with Rust you have like SMG bodies, which is kind of like the main gun stock, right? But you can put different barrels maybe, or... Is Expedition the game you were playing? Yes. Yes, it was. Even though the content is very shallow, I've been very, very much enjoying the tiny little gameplay loop there is. Got my jar of milk, I'm ready. Yeah, let's just pin this for fun. Riveting podcast so far. Basically, every part of a gun is modeled and simulated. Cool. Been away from Dad, but PvE got my interest. I wonder, Leo, that's hopeful for Dark and Darker that there are a lot of people like you that, you know, got experience with the game, phased out of the game, but are encouraged to pay attention again now that there's the whisper of a PvE mode. That's encouraging, I think. Let me also do this. I'm gonna get this up here just so I can keep a few notes as needed.
Greetings, adventurers.
Uh-oh.
Grab a seat and join
RP.
us at the Tavern Table.
RP. Hi. Oh, the devs are
We got it right
here.
this time. How's it going, everybody?
The devs are here.
Thank you
Grayson
for
is
joining us
here.
tonight on the Tavern Table, episode 3. Sorry if it says episode 2. It was a little error on my part. I closed OBS earlier and forgot to update it. So, welcome in. Hello.
Welcome. How's the
Grayson,
volume,
Terry,
guys?
SDF. Pleasure to have you guys here. Excited to show a bunch of cool stuff tonight.
Hi.
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
We've already got a sip counter going.
Sip counter. How many sips? Uh-oh.
I'm putting it down.
No, let's see if we can beat our record from last time. I mean, what was it at? Does anybody have the number?
What was the record last time?
Can we get an
I wanna say
SDF
it was
sip
like 100
counter?
and something.
Feel like
Whatever our
okay.
record was, 141 is what I'm seeing in chat. 142?
142
Conflicting data.
sips.
We have, an extra.
Trick question is already empty.
All right, well, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and last time we had quite a bit to discuss before we actually got into the meat and potatoes of everything. But this time we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it, and we're going to begin with talking about the adventure mode, the much-awaited kind of PvE game mode.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I think that's the big question that everyone's been, asking about is what is this upcoming PvE mode? So I'm just going to refer to it as the adventure mode. That's what we call it internally.
Adventure mode.
But it's basically, it's kind of, you could think of it as like a looter shooter co-op dungeon crawler experience,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Looter shooter co-op
it's
dungeon
basically-
experience.
our overall thinking for what Dark and Darker is kind of evolved but originally we wanted it to be kind of like this fantasy adventure simulator, right? And one of the aspects is having these super dangerous hardcore dungeons was one of the ways to kind of present that.
Uh-oh.
That wasn't
Revised vision.
the only way, right? And so now we've had that kind of feedback. Hey, we would like more of that dungeon crawling aspect and maybe some of the stuff that's not just so PvP focused. And so this is the time that we're kind of actually exploring that, right? And so we're going back to, hey, using this as a platform for doing more fantasy dungeon simulator, right? And so I think there are a lot of people that are kind of thirsty for this kind of co-op dungeon crawling experience right now.
Who's thirsty?
Right? And there's not a lot of other games out there that give that kind of our unique take on
Especially the first person view of our fantasy.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
right? So this is the thing that, hey, I think this is something that we could kind of fill that hole, right? And give people, hey, you could come in. So the goal of this for us internally is like, hey, we want to make this place where you could kind of explore, the world and kind of start learning. I do agree we have a lot of complex systems, right? And it's kind of hard. We just kind of throw you into the deep end all at once, right? So,
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Is that two
I feel
sips
like
or?
adventure mode is kind of the way where
he just went for
you
two
can
there. Yeah,
start
Maddie's got
getting,
it.
Ease into
Maddie's
learning
got
this
it.
kind of complicated game systems, but also just goof around with your friends, right? Like I was telling Grayson, my sales pitch to him was like, oh, we want this mode to be.
Sounds
where
like they're
you could
giving
just
up on the
kinda
PvP.
click
Yeah,
the
it's
start button with your friends. You jump in with your buddies, and you just go in for like dungeon hijinks and shenanigans. Just like mess around, just have a good time.
I wish I had hijinks and
the final thing is
shenanigans
that we still want
on the
it to
list.
be part of like linked to the overall, Dark and Darker, like the hardcore extraction, looter game. And so you're still part of that community. So I think, people are asking like, oh, okay, is this like this one-off, like, Tarkov, like this single player mode? No, it's actual own new mode, right? So I'll
Like
go into
two
explain
side-by-side
the
games
structure
almost.
We're looking at is that now, when you go into the world map, is you would actually just select your location, and then like Forgotten Castle, and then you select the type of mode that you want to interact with that location.
Okay.
So there will be the adventure mode. So that's the first mode.
Okay.
You know, in terms of increasing difficulty, right? Is adventure mode. The next one would be the normal mode, and normal mode is
0 to 125.
Yeah, 0 to 125. So it's going to be a combined. Again, we had the same concerns with having too many matchmaking pools. So I'll also go into like some of the ways that we're kind of,
trying to save money.
Kind of predicting ways to
save money,
reduce like the negative impacts of just expanding too many matching pools. But one of it is right now we're going to combine the two normal modes, 0, 25, 24, and up to 125 into one.
Okay.
Right now. We'll see how it goes. And then the high roller is still going to be split into the two modes.
Okay.
So it's going to be there's
0
going to be
to 2 to 4.
Yeah, so that's the big change to high roller. Is you could do start at 0, right?
Okay.
Big win for the 0 to hero enjoyers.
And then the high roller 2 is going to be the same as before. It's the 225 plus, right?
Uncapped.
So
interesting.
But the other big change is because now we've striated into these 4 modes or these 4 pools, is that we have a lot more internally. We have a lot more tools now to fine tune the balancing between these different modes. Right?
Okay.
And so I think there was a lot of worries about I'm gonna do stuff in the adventure mode, and it's gonna have all this stuff's gonna bleed into all these the PvP modes, and it's gonna cause a lot of issues with the economy and stuff. And so those are concerns, but because now we have the ability to balance per each mode, and per each floor to a higher degree, that's one of the things that we're gonna really work on is matching that risk to reward. Balancing
this counts
all those different modes. And so we want to give places where you have your sandbox that you could play the way you want, but at the same time you can't get all the same rewards because the reality of it is there's
isn't the same risk
risk settings, right?
Yeah, so, on that topic, so there's been a lot of speculation about what loot will be available. Obviously, there's some concerns that people have voiced with like griefing in the dungeon. Do you want to talk about sort of some things that you've put into motion or planned to counteract griefing, and then also to, like you mentioned, make the adventure mode rewarding, but not so rewarding that it's the go-to game mode for everybody?
Yeah. So on the griefing side, we're gonna try blocking out as much of the
mentioned
the obvious trolling, but
blocking?
we know that that's not going to be possible. That's stuff that we're going to have to keep on implementing. Even yesterday we were testing, Grace and I.
Yeah.
And the slow debuff
for the throwing knives. Francesca.
And we were being chased. And we're on different teams. And I was just throwing knives, and then like this whole pack of and we're like, okay, so these are things that's on our radar, and we're gonna
griefing.
Be,
PvE griefing is on the radar.
Put in the preventions for griefing.
Okay.
So, but we know that there's gonna be
there's gonna be shitheads in the dungeon. Confirmed.
Having these kind of weird interactions.
People love to break the game. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we have gotten a lot of hints about what some could be. Yeah. So that's been nice.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of messages from the community, and like people have been passing along feedback like, hey, what about this? What about this? So it's good to hear from folks in the community, and a lot of that has been added to like the list of things that we're thinking about.
You won't be able to just stand in a doorway.
Yeah, and block it. Yeah. So, and then
oh man.
I think, the big question is about like the loot, the reward structure, right? And so that's a lot of stuff that we've been working on to make that match up with the risk, right? The risk profile of each mode. So like I could just give you like actual, concrete. So like adventure mode, the general loot there would be pretty much, maybe up to uncommon and rare, and then you could get the bosses and like the very high value chests, like the marvelous or the gold chest, and you could you could get the epics out of those, right? And so you could still go on an adventure and feel like you're making these kind of progress, and if you go for the high value targets, you could still get like loot that feels substantial, right? But it's not something that's going to be like, oh, game breaking. We don't think, right? Again, we have better tools now, so we could do a lot more of that kind of fine-tune adjusting. But we think this is going to be a good kind of, it gives enough of motivation.
This would be for Wipe Clippy, I think.
And you could get things that you feel like, oh, okay, when I do want to make the jump to the more dangerous, I'm not just starting from zero, right? We also have,
Thank you, Fart,
to fine tune more for like the quest. So we know, hey, when you don't have the threat of PvP, like go farming like wolf skins, it's going to be much, much easier. Right?
Wolf skins.
So we're also, rebalancing. So the quest drop rates are going to be.
I agree, Quack. I agree.
Much better with PvP in the modes that have PvP involved.
So right? Could that be extrapolated as
good question, Gonzo?
Troll pelts. You'll have a much easier time getting a troll pelt if you're playing the PvP mode versus playing the PvP mode.
Yeah. So all of this stuff is now, whereas before it was just like a one universal constant that we had, right? It's like now we can set it for each dungeon mode, right? And we're gonna actually take use of that.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So I guess like the easy outline is adventure mode. It's going to have no gear score cap. It's going to be trios only. So
interesting.
Trios only. The reason why it's trios only is we want to kind of limit making too many pools. But we thought about it. It's like, man, so because there's no PvP, is that we're not restricting. You have to be trios.
Yes, Newport, I agree.
Only. We're going to have the random matchmaking, and you could go in solos, duos with the no, please don't fill my team party. So you
Leo.
have solos there, you have duos there, but because
two
that
friends.
PvP danger isn't
Maybe
there,
you can be
like
friends with Leo.
Like it's a necessity.
Thank you, Leo, very much.
Match pool for solos only, duos only. It's like, okay, hey, this is just one big party pool, right? And so adventure, that's adventure mode. No gear score.
ROG, good to see you, buddy.
One thing about adventure mode is, how about the item rarity grade?
Yeah,
Highly
so
Gamer.
Limited?
Yeah.
Item rarity grade for the adventure mode.
We could set that.
Yeah.
Keep sipping, buddy. Yeah,
so
you sip it. You sip that cup.
That's just a start trying.
Yeah. Again, it is an experiment, right? So I'm not gonna hard commit and say, oh, okay, we're gonna keep it unlimited forever. But
I think there's definitely some people that would enjoy going in with their, having a Fulgore or something and going into the dungeon.
The sipper.
It beckons back to the old days of MMOs where a high level player would just be sitting in a low level area and they just got all their cool gear on. Everyone's like, look how awesome that guy is. He's one-shotting everything.
Yeah, so that was kind of the fantasy that we were talking about when we were talking about, oh, should we limit this? And it's like, so I was actually the advocate. Oh, let's limit it in this. No,
Thank you, Fart.
Like
I didn't want to talk over.
It's just like standing in the town square with the full unique set. And you're like, oh, okay, that's what I want to eventually reach, right? And so, okay, that's a fantasy that we want to endorse, right? So that's why. Right
sorry, this wasn't something that we had originally mentioned, but just something that came off the top of my head. Is there any plan to add like an ability to inspect someone while you're in the dungeon, in only in the PvE mode, just so you can actually see how cool their gear is?
That's a good idea, but
We're not sure, Newport, about this question.
I mean, there's no plans for that right now. Yeah, but
Thank you, Clippy.
Yeah. Again, there's stuff that's being research and development side for like things that on this, it's more social stuff that was in plans for the gathering hall, and that has kind of a similar,
그래서 그 얘기를 해줘야 될 것 같아요. 그러니까 PVE 모드가 이제 우리가 어드벤처 모드 만들잖아요.
네.
근데 그게 이제 파이널라이즈 된 거 나오는 게 아니라 이제 처음
그거
완전 베이직 라인에 있는 거고 그래서 발전시킬 거다. 이제 그런 이야기를 좀 해줘야.
Yeah, so the other thing that STF wants to make clear is like this is the first step of, again, we want this kind of fantasy dungeon simulator. And this is first. It's not. We have. We're being very realistic.
Finish a sentence.
This is not going to be this nicely polished mode that comes out from the start. But we had it's this one kind of just crazy big idea. It's like, hey, yeah, there was that kind of thirst for just a co-op dungeon crawling experience, and also the complexity of our multiple game systems is just to learn all at once with that tension of stress of PvP is a lot to take in. So I think we're killing two birds with one stone right now. But because of that, it's not don't expect it to be this like perfect single player or like
adventure experience
right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue building on this, right? And I think that the other thing, this is kind of a reach go with this mode is that because this is going to have that kind of more emphasis on just, playing, adventuring with your friends, is that there's actually a lot of stuff that if we built for this mode to make the adventuring more fulfilling, is that we think that it's actually going to carry over and make the PvP aspect, dungeon more engaging also. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, hey, we could also use this as a test bed for things that make the dungeons feel more alive, right?
Yeah, there's actually something on the list that we're going to talk about a little bit later, specifically in the case what you're talking about of improvements to PvE or like additional details that make the PvP experience a little bit broader. We have some things on the list, and I agree 100% that expanding the PvE mode has implications for PvP, and in my opinion, we've talked about this a little bit internally, it's only a good thing. Sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to bring up the fact that there's already, I think, some things that are in the works that it will immediately see with the wipe that are kind of indirect changes that will make a difference in the PvP mode. Since you brought up the adventure mode and you mentioned that there is now a split into normal and high roller, do you want to talk a little bit more specifically about the 4 modes? We've already kind of gone over adventure, but do you want to talk about
the remaining modes? So like the normal mode, so I guess if you look at it, we kind of look at it, hey, this is kind of the introduction to the looter extraction experience. It's basically the mode right now, except we kind of squashed in the 2 gear scores, so 0 to 124. We know that again because that unpredictable aspect of PvP, makes the difficulty go up, so much more that the rewards have to be better, right? So this is now like the general loot grade is you get all the way up to epic from the normal dungeons, and then you get the bosses in the high value chests. You could get the legendary grade, right? And then high roller is what we kind of call it like the competitive extraction experience, where now you have like, we're actually, it's super high risk, but you're going for the best rewards there. It's kind of much more hardcore, like much lower survival rates. We're actually like have a lot more tension. I mean, it's basically what the high roller that we experimented this season. That's what it is. Is we introduced the circle and the random portals, so we're kind of actively pushing PvP. I think this season we kind of are, what we failed at with that higher tension was that the rewards didn't actually meet that kind of higher risk rate, and so now we have that ability to kind of fine tune the balance. It's like, okay, this is where the reward rates, we could actually fine tune that to make it, hey, this is super high risk, high tension, but when you do get out, you're like, oh, okay, I got out with like really, really great loot, right? So the high roller one up to 225, the big change is that we're not going to be dropping named out of the first high roller, right? And so because but the drop rates for uniques, we're going to adjust that. There's some new mechanics going in, so like, hey, you go there, you're the last man standing, and you take out the bosses, then there's a very high probability that you're coming out with like a new unique, right?
So no artifacts, but you're more likely to see unique items.
Yeah, and then at the same token, at the highest one that's where it's the same structure, but then the reward is just up 1 degree, right? And then, so if you're the last survivor there, it's like, hey, now I came out with there's a good chance that I come out with like a named if I go through the whole experience.
if there's a good chance for a named every time you complete an uncapped 225,
I myself, in preparation for the named arena,
we're gonna be drowning in
killed about
artifacts.
300 bosses in the last 2 weeks and did not get an artifact to drop. So knowing that I could go to 225 plus and have a much higher probability of finding one is very exciting.
Interesting.
So so I did skip over like one last again, this is kind of a side goal with the adventure mode is I think, so the thinking is not that everyone that plays adventure mode is going to graduate to the PvP modes. I think, for some there's some cohort of our, the expectant new people that will engage in the adventure
yes, Charlie.
mode. Like PvP will probably be a non-starter, right? So but the other thing is like, but we do want to give them a place where, hey, if you get comfortable enough, maybe you could give them that little nudge, right? And say, oh, well, I don't consider myself a PvP player, but maybe I'll give it a try because I have this built-up knowledge, right? So we're kind of looking at the adventure mode as also a place where, like, hey, you go in, you learn the systems, and you can kind of practice the dungeons, the monsters, and the bosses too, right? I think, where we're focus on too much competition, like even bossing becomes this kind of other gateway, like, and so this is a way that we kind of lower this, we give them steps, right?
Yeah.
For the people that do want to graduate.
If they introduce more named items, right? Like a named Wormall, a named Flanged Mace.
We do know that there are, I mean, just from, reviews that we've gotten on Steam and from people that respond to us on Twitter, feedback in Discord,
agreed, Deanan.
Feedback on our website. We do know that there are
they'll try it once.
And even like anecdotal stories from people that play the game that have friends that say, oh, I would love to play the game if it had a PvE mode. I will probably check out the PvP mode once I'm a little more comfortable with the PvE and I'm not just getting rolled over by the skeletons. I mean, we all remember what it was like in the playtests and the early access release when you would watch your kill feed and 90% of people were dying to the skeletons in the first spawn box. So that is the experience for the average player starting the game, and they don't want to get destroyed by PvP. Some of them might, but having the option there to go into adventure mode and learn the game is very exciting.
No, you're good, Gunzo.
Players.
You're good.
So on the topic
it's a party.
of like kind of expanding on the dungeon a little bit was one thing we're going to mention. We're not going to give specific details on it, and I do want to just point out that what we talk about here today is not everything that's going to be coming with the wipe. We want to keep some things secret, so there will be some
secrets,
some stuff beyond what we're sharing today. So make sure
secrets,
that
guys.
The wipe announcement. But one thing that I was excited to see is the return of the Expressman.
Oh,
now I didn't write down any details for that, but if you want to share anything for that, feel free. If not, we will go ahead and move on.
Expressman.
그냥 간단하게 열어봤을 수 있다. 그냥 매번 내려가면 다운룸에.
Yeah, so he's saying the Expressman, he's coming back. There's going to be adjustments to his mechanic. You could use him multiple times. But again, for us, it's, hey, we put him in. It was a great system. And then we put in the CMM and it was like, oh, wait, we couldn't get him to work with that version right away. So, but it was a great system, right? And I think it also
I did
goes
not
in
expect.
with this kind of, we want to kind of, promote people to go explore more of the dungeon.
Thank you, Two Hands.
So, now
thanks for being here, man.
Adjusted, he's coming back.
Expressman Landry's making a comeback.
Already.
Good to see you, Landry.
Seems like it's going to be a good way to promote people to keep on dungeon delving deeper. So
I'm excited for Expressman. I love Expressman. I mean, I think once the quality of life change came to Expressman, where you could like right click stuff and you could just quickly dump a
good to see you, man.
before you got down to the next. It was amazing.
I'm not making as many jokes because it feels like they're actually providing real information. So I'm just kind of like listening and making notes. And
chat, everybody's like, "Where's Otto?"
It's good that there's less meme content. There's more actual content.
On to something I kind of
good job, Odin.
Hinted at earlier. With the updates to High Roller and the changes to the loot that is coming, specifically with uniques and artifacts, there is a boss mechanic or spawning change coming for High Roller.
Boss spawning change.
Because of this, the loot from the bosses is going to be buffed kind of accordingly. So as you explained, if you go down and you kill those, especially the later bosses, you can expect to get some pretty good loot because it is changing a bit how you kind of access the bosses. Do we want to talk about that at all?
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So do we want to go into exactly?
It's up to you.
the d-
You want to,
okay.
yeah.
So I don't
Secrets.
want to spoil it too much and get people ready to they're already, oh, I know what to get. But we are connecting the sub bosses and some other side hunting loot to be more valuable towards creating boss spawning items. So now when you go in, and this is only for high roller and for the 2 high roller versions, right? So now when you go in, the bosses will not always be there. You will now have to craft items to spawn the bosses. By the way, the items do look very cool. I was super happy with how the items actually turned out.
Okay. Make
But
the
that
sale,
does mean
Grayson.
that since the bosses aren't always there and you do have to spawn them, you can expect better loot. And also, I think one good change about this is also it gives you
Holy
agency
bread.
of which boss you do spawn. So now, if you are more comfortable with Lich, for example, you can choose to spawn Lich, but then that does restrict, Lich's loot pool
Yeah.
or the boss's loot pool to which boss you do choose to spawn.
Okay.
But yeah, I really do think that will be good for the economy. I also think it'll be really nice for players. For example, lower level players just killing sub bosses. They'll have I got this item. I can craft the boss key with this.
Boss
I
key.
think that will help the economy in so many ways.
Boss key
But
confirmed.
yeah, as far
How?
as the new
How would it
bossing mechanic, that is how that's going to go.
help the economy? How?
Very exciting stuff. When you first explained that to me, I was like, wait, this is actually an awesome idea. I love the idea of it being a little bit more difficult to access the bosses and more preparation, more intent being there rather than it just being like a thing you do because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
And
How
then
will it
also
help the
loot
economy?
being, kind of buffed as a result.
Yeah, as I said, you will be able to, for example, practice the normal version of bosses in PvE mode, so we aren't really taking that away.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and regular normal. So adventure mode and normals will both still have consistent boss spawns. They will always be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right, well, guys, I have some pretty cool stuff to share with you. With the wipe, there will be an addition of some new monsters. I have 2 of them to showcase for you here. Now, we've hidden the
Monsters.
sounds, and some of the animations are not, well, the animations are finished, but the effects that are not added on these clips. So I understand that this is not the full extent of it. I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and pull that up right now.
Oh.
And on the left here, we have the Abomination.
Oh.
And on the right is the Cerberus. These are 2
Look at
very
the-
well detailed monsters. I
no.
saw some
Big
footage
mommy
from these,
milkers.
In
Guys.
the internal
Look at
kind
these.
of
Yeah.
system here, and I got to see kind of
Is this a
the
pregnant
design
goblin?
process for these. These are super cool,
is this
and
a
this is not
pregnant
the only
goblin?
mobs coming.
Look at
with
the
this update.
milkers on
The
this
other
one,
mobs that I saw
guys.
on there were
The
also pretty
yitties.
sweet. So
Yeah, the Abomination's awesome.
Uh-huh.
when we were having our meetings, kind of like discussing what was
Oh.
going to be added to the Tavern Table.
Oh
previous,
boy, how much?
Abomination was
Find
the
the
one I
link.
wanted to shop the most because it's just such a cool monster.
A
It
golden
is
key to the
much
first
bigger
person
than
who
you think it
finds the
is.
link
Put it
to
that
the
way.
Unreal Asset Store for
But
the
yeah,
big
so,
mommy milkers.
Do you guys want to talk at all about kind of Terry on the last episode of Tavern Table? You sort of alluded to, a bit of an overhaul of the monsters. Not really like any specific details, but just kind of that there was an original design in place, and then eventually that kind of got changed because it was too much work to kind of like retroactively fit parts from other monsters. These monsters, from what I've seen, are really well designed and fleshed out. Is this sort of the new direction for the monster design? Do you want to talk
Ooh,
about
the
that
new
at all, or is
direction
that
for
not ready
monster
yet?
design. Only topless.
쪽에서 그 시스템 쪽에서
뭐 변할 게 있는지 아니면 뭐 정확하게 어떤
그러니까 우리가 그 시스템도 오버하울 하고 있었잖아요.
그거는
They're so
근데 아직-
veiny.
yeah,
스텝이야. 저 퍼스트 스텝.
yeah, we're still. So this is not actually. This was still made using the old process of just like
Okay.
hand.
네,
yeah.
seven Inferno monsters.
Yeah, so there's now you know the exact number of new monsters, but yeah, these are just so again, this is not the fruits of that back end
Okay.
change that we're still working on.
So these monsters aren't
this is
coming
more
from the
like,
new
hey,
monster process.
You know, like to be honest, we're like the water world is such a huge thing, and it's like, oh, it's not ready, but what can we still as like a male couple?
Can we just buy some assets and plug them in?
Yeah,
That's
So
fine.
he's gonna give the
That's
actual,
fine.
information on the back.
지금은 이제 테크니컬 디자이너들이 이거를 되게 힘들게
Cerebus is 250 LOL.
프로그램 없이
Yeah.
그러다 보니까 지금은 이제 스파게티 코드가 좀 많고.
Thank you.
일반적으로
Oh, look.
블루프린트 해야
Yeah.
펼쳐져 있는 거야. 그래서 지금은 그거를 풀고 있어요. 이걸 풀고 나면 이제 이걸 뭐 코드로 내리고 이런 스트럭처가
The swimming combat is really weird, and we're still trying to figure out how to make it feel
근데 지금은
not
완전
weird.
핸드메이드 하고 있는 상태인 거야.
Yeah.
그래서 조금
So
느리긴 하지.
again, for people that have
Oh, yeah.
experience with like Unreal Engine, is basically like all our monsters were made it was made by game designers using the blueprint system without any real help from the programming side, right? And so the one unique thing about the Unreal Engine, they have a system called Blueprints. It's kind of a visual coding system.
Okay.
And so again, because our monster team, they're very talented, but at the same time they're not really programmers, right? And they were able to make all the monsters in the game using the system, but again, because their background is not in programming, is that a lot of practices are not best practices, and so there are that's why like the same type of bugs keep on coming up. And so right now we're trying to figure out, okay, reanalyze all
How do we
the
do
systems that
monsters?
they made,
Guys,
and kind of translate that into an actual structure with our programming team,
Gotcha.
right?
okay.
So like the good analogy is like the best way would have been we make like Lego blocks and give that to the designers, and they could build the monsters this way. But right now everything was like hand built. It's like yeah, and like shaving each little part.
Shaving each little
So
part.
Now we have to kind of pull this apart, see what are the actual core components, build that, and then give that back to them. And that's a process that's being done in the background.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha. Well, the only reason I brought it up is that when I actually saw the sort of like finished products, there's still some compiling and stuff to be done. They to me they looked like the revolution of the monster design. So it feels like regardless of whether this is the new system or not, it's like headed in the right direction. They're very promising.
Very
Especially,
promising.
like I said, as soon as I saw the abomination, I'm like, oh man, this thing is awesome.
Odin is a
Very
better
excited.
CEO than Terry is. Okay? Odin knows how to speak like a CEO.
Again, we moved like that adage.
Terry
in
speaks like a
Silicon Valley,
sophomore
move fast,
kid
but
in college,
we broke a lot of
right?
things. We have a lot of technical debt that we're still paying back right now. But the goal is once we start, fixing these things and improving
Start.
it,
Start.
Really opens it up for the future.
Once we
want to
start,
expand really quickly.
It's gonna.
Yeah, so I think one of the collateral damage here was the water world that's being pushed back. It's not coming out this white because hey, we have all this technical debt that we have to address to make sure when we do a
Tech
huge,
debt.
with a bunch of new content stuff, is that things are not all broken,
Gotcha. All right. Well, we do have on the sort of PvE side of things here, we have a few more things to talk about.
Okay.
I guess the dungeon experience, I should say. One thing I know a lot of people will be very excited about is that there are some new crafting items coming, new crafted items coming with the update. We're gonna only show one of them. And then the rest you guys will see
Crafting
when the actual
items.
wave comes out. Unfortunately, it's just that the 3D model wasn't available for me to grab, so I just have the thumbnail here. So
I
we're
had
gonna
to
add
draw
to
it
the
with
screen
my
here. It's gonna be
hands.
down in the center. And that is the Tome of Sheol. Sheol.
Oh God.
It is a
Sheol,
crafted spell book. So finally, a crafted option for casters. I know people are going to be really excited about that one. There are other crafting items coming, so keep in mind this is just one of them. But just wanted to briefly bring that up for everybody. It's pretty
Okay.
sweet, and I love that.
Thank
spellbook
you.
tome, or that dark spellbook kind of theme. We were originally going to talk about. I kind of wanted to swap the order of things here, just because it makes a little bit more sense to kind of go off the tail end of discussing monsters and the dungeon experience here.
Monsters.
There's going to be a decent number of new quests and quest types coming
Okay.
with the upcoming season. Grayson, you want to talk about those?
Yeah, so, with PvE mode, people will be able to go through the quest a little bit quicker than they usually would. As far as, killing monsters, it will be a lot easier to kill monsters in PvE mode when you aren't really contested by other players trying to kill you. with that being said, we did want to increase the amount of quests and also not the difficulty, but I would say the content inside one quest will be a little bit more than previous wipes. And also the actual amount of quests is increased. We also have a few new quest mechanics. I'm not going to go into that because I just want it to be a surprise.
Okay.
As well as there is so merchants in the past that did not have quests now have quests, and there is an additional merchant that I'm not gonna also
The
share.
cockatrice,
but you can
right?
expect a new merchant.
The
coming
cockatrice.
soon.
We know it already.
And that also has its own little unique take on the merchant system. It's a lot different than any other merchant we put in before.
Because it's a bird. It comes
but
from
as
an
far as
egg.
quests,
Milkman.
there are a lot more weeks. So usually, how the questing works is there is 7 weeks with the final 3 quests at the end
Charlie.
of every season, but we have expanded it to 12 weeks plus the final. So that'll give players a lot more content to go through. The last few quest weeks are much harder, but the rewards are much better. So that's a good payoff, I think.
Okay.
So
But as far as the quest stuff, yeah, go ahead.
the quest, so the quest will basically be starting right away from the very beginning of the season, all the way up until potentially the end of the wipe, or the week before the end of wipe.
Yep. Yeah, right. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the end of wipe, there will be quests, right?
Okay.
And do you want to talk about? I'm sure there may be some changes with
God.
affinity
10
or
gallons.
crafting. Is there anything planned?
Oh,
as far
so
as changes
heavy.
when you get access to certain crafting tiers?
Yes, that is changed completely, actually. But yeah, I'll let
Interesting.
players wait and see that themselves.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't even know myself. There's a few things. There's some things I like to keep a secret for myself as well.
Mhm.
So with that, let's go ahead and talk about SDF has his own kind of. I got a picture right before we started the stream that we weren't sure if we were going to talk about, but we have a plan that some of you may have already heard about, which is that there are HR leaderboards coming up with potentially either at the start of the wipe or being added shortly after. SDF, do you want to talk about this?
Well, actually, it's not my design.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Actually, it's not my design,
Yeah.
he says.
So I think we're being too optimistic if it's
Yeah.
gonna be at the start of the wipe.
Oh.
Our reach goal is sometime, mid-season. But it's just
Oh.
like people have like pretty fond memories of the playtest.
Mid-season.
Like the current system with the adventure rank it was supposed to be a replacement for that with some kind of skill base, but now we know
There's
the
no
most
skill in
recent
AP.
iteration of the adventure rank is not skill based at all.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just like a time sink kind of thing, right? So for this season, at least for kind of to harken back to like the playtest, is that hey, we're working on bringing back that kind of old style leaderboard and do it on like a weekly rotation. So this is something, it's something light, something fun, something, until we can figure out, okay, what's the real direction we want to do.
What's
for
the real
adventure rank
direction
system.
we
It's
want?
adventure rank is still going to be here for this season. Again, we're not, we learned we don't want to make too much drastic changes to these kind of progression systems in mid-season. So I think you'll see the big overhaul for that in the subsequent season.
Oh.
And then I think the other thing was
He seems like
Arena?
sheepish about it, right? He's
yeah. So,
What?
그래서 뭐 아까 설명해
Arena.
Yeah, so I mean,
He sounds so
basically, we're
deflated.
thinking, at least this season, we're gonna try. We have plans. We want to try out a solo queue pool for arena and a solo queue.
only solo queue.
Yeah, it's like arena. We do feel is more of that kind of competitive aspect. where-
Not 1v1 arena, to be clear.
Yeah, not
To
really.
clarify,
no, we-
No,
not
yeah,
1v1.
it's like the League of Legends
Yeah.
style, right? So rank is that you have the party, and then you have
The random party.
the random,
A random party.
queue, right? And so the team is
Yeah.
made up of, and so I think this is one of the things that we're gonna probably test out this
Yes,
season,
Deanan.
is arena solo queue and
Yes, Moss.
respective leaderboard to go along with that. So that's one of the goals. But
we don't want to split matchmaking pool too much.
Yes,
yeah, so
Library.
I think that's gonna be contingent on like seeing the player population, the participation rates for the arena, and seeing how it's distributed. So maybe again, these are all things that is based on the data. We did see pretty good participation rates for arena this past season, especially going towards as the season progressed. So if it's at that rate and that amount of participation, I think we could support too, but we don't know yet, right? So it might have to be like, hey,
We're gathering
maybe
data.
1 week arena is party mode.
We're
1
gathering
week
data.
solo queue only or something. This is something that is kind of a wish goal that we have in our minds.
A wish
and we're thinking
goal.
about how to implement this properly, right?
What's a
But that's something that
wish
we're
goal?
looking to test this upcoming season.
Yeah, I know that people.
Do I have
know
wish
for a fact that
goals?
People are excited about that. I saw Soapy in here that was excited about
It's
it.
for sure
I myself,
empty.
I like to play a lot of solo.
It's for
arena.
he's just
And
smelling
anybody who
it at
plays
this
solo
point,
arena knows
right?
that going up against a pre-made 3-stack, you just at a disadvantage. So having an option when you want to play alone. Was that?
Yeah. I think that Soapy discussion
Soapy?
definitely had an impact.
I have a
think
wish
the other thing
goal.
is like we want to see like class stacking. That's also an issue, but the reason we couldn't attack that full on was like
Why?
Can the population support it or not?
Oh my
right?
God, yes,
But
it
if we have
can.
its own dedicated, so like we could easily turn that policy back on. And it's like, oh, okay, if there's enough people and still have a reasonable matchmaking time. So things are like this is why we want to go, progress with this kind of test, right?
Gotcha. All right.
Thank
are
you,
there
Masters.
Any other updates regarding dungeon or arena
Yeah.
that we didn't cover that we wanted to talk about, or are we good to move on?
I think So actually, SDF and we have another meeting shortly after this, so we might need to bow out a little early.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We're good. We're making good time on the schedule here. We've got some stuff that we could talk about after you guys take off regarding the community side of stuff. But real quick, just
RP
to
only
confirm,
fans.
we've already mentioned this in the Discord,
Gonzo.
but it
Gonzo.
is confirmed for April 10th. The current plan is to start maintenance at 3 p.m. KST, which is 6 a.m. UTC. I believe that's midnight Eastern, if I remember correctly, but that's roughly what we're expecting for the maintenance time. It can change. It can change.
Oh,
but
what's
that's
the point of even giving a time, guys?
What do you say, she?
목표고. 근데 이제 시간이 얼마 없어서 그냥 게더링홀 관련해서 좀 빨리 얘기해.
Okay, yeah. So there's the big thing that SDF. The reason he's here, he wants to, his thing that he wants to talk about is the gathering hall.
Oh, okay.
게더링홀을 이번 시즌은 좀 힘들 거야. 사이즈가 너무 커서.
Yeah.
근데 이걸 이제 게임의 되게 중요한 사이클 중에 하나로 우리가 아레나 만들 때 이 아레나가 그 게임의 어떤 또 하나의 사이클로 이렇게 들어왔잖아요. 그것처럼 또 다른 사이클 하나를 만들어주고 싶은데 그렇게 하기에 제가 볼 때는 최소 한 2달에서 3달은 완전히 여기에 풀리 개발해야 돼요. 그래서 이번 시즌은 없을 거고 근데 다음 시즌엔 시작과 함께 있을 거다. 그거로 이제
Yeah. So the announcement for the gathering hall, unfortunately, it's going to be pushed back, right? It's not coming out this season, right?
This season.
Because honestly, when we were looking at it, it's like this is a system that's on the same scale and scope as like something like the arena is something that we're looking at as like a critical component of adding another critical loop cycle or big game loop. And so for this is when we started it was like, oh, okay, hey, this is a pretty huge substantial system. And so
Guys.
SCF personally is like, oh, okay, this is something that we're going to have to dedicate a lot of resources to. And that's why it's getting pushed back, right? So he's saying, even with him working on focusing his direct energies on this, he's looking at probably 2 months, 3 months. And so the goal is to
SDF is the only one who can fix it.
Fleshed out
right
ready to
here
go for the start of the next season.
Oh.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we will be looking forward to that. I know,
we teased it. We
there's a lot
fucking
of
showed
potential
some.
with the Gathering Hall, and I know that people are very excited for a social
We
space.
previewed
definitely
it.
Looking forward to that. I believe that's everything that we had to talk about as far as wipe details. As I mentioned earlier, guys, there is more coming with the wipe. We're trying to keep, I would say, more than half of it secret. You
Then
will
tell
definitely
us.
hear more about what's coming up when the actual wipe launches.
Why not just
But
tell
we wanted
us?
to show off some changes that were coming with the dungeon, changes to loot. Mentioned that the Expressman is coming back, addition to adventure mode. You know,
Is it a
potential
bingo?
addition of the HR leaderboards and everything. But aside
It
from that,
is.
was there anything else that you guys wanted
Womp
to add before you head off to your
That's the
next meeting?
saddest bingo I've ever experienced.
우리가 놓친 거 있을까요?
Yeah, it's a bingo.
그냥 새로운 아티팩트들
Oh.
있어서
Yeah, so
시즌 중에 아마 나올 건데 근데 이제 그런 것들은 디테일은 공개하고 싶진 않고요 지금은.
Yeah,
그
so
어렸을 때 미스테리를
he's keeping
남겨두고 싶어서.
stuff like the content stuff with the core and combat. So
Which
he
core?
hinted at it.
What?
They're going to be rolled out during the season,
Core combat.
but he doesn't want to give too much details. That's what he said. So
Okay.
he's working on like new artifacts that are going to be coming out.
Good.
Okay. All right. Well, SDF is cooking on some stuff, and we will hear more about it either with the wipe or mid-season. So look forward to that. But other than that, I think we are we can free you guys so you can head off to your next
Okay,
meeting. We've got
get
some
outta
more
here.
exciting stuff to talk about that I think people are going to be very interested in.
Try to
That
save
is
it,
not
Odin.
directly
Try to
related
save
the game,
it.
But as some people have already speculated, there will be a Twitch Drops campaign.
A Twitch drops.
Grayson, you want to talk about that?
Wish
at all? I saw
goals.
some of the items that are coming up with Twitch Drops, and it is there's one that we actually have to show off, and I'll let you kind of explain how the decisions were made around that. The Hungering Lantern,
So
which is pretty
before
sweet.
you start
Hungering
I think
Lantern.
We have to go for our next get ready.
Goodbye.
Yeah, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.
All right.
But thanks everyone.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for coming.
yeah, I know you're gonna have. This is some really cool stuff. So.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank
Appreciate it,
you.
guys. Have a good one.
Goodbye. Have fun at your next appointment.
Yeah. So for Twitch drops, they will be going
I'm
for
counting it.
2 weeks shortly after the wipe starts. I'm super happy with
the-
what we were able to pull out for the drops this
What the-
time. It will include some in-game related stuff, and so by in-game I mean items, and also it will include cosmetics like last time. I'm really happy about these cosmetics. They look super cool.
Did you make
To
them?
be honest, I really think this will be really, as far as the cosmetics go, I feel like we're like stepping up a level.
Stepping up a
I
level.
know Odin will have to we'll have them to show off soon, at least one of them. I didn't want to show everything today because it wouldn't
We
be
have
fun,
the-
but we will.
We have the Hungering Lantern
Good.
up on screen right
Did they make this? This lantern will
oh,
save
do
the
we? Okay,
game.
I can't see, but I hope it looks cool for everybody.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty sweet. We've got the concept art and like the full 3D render as well as the in-game kind of like the spin here. But this is only one of the items that is being added with the Twitch Drops campaign. And do you want to talk about when that's happening?
Yeah, so as far as the exact dates, the current schedule is on the 12th through the 23rd. So Saturday until the next 2 following Wednesdays. Yeah, as I said, it will be 2 weeks. Compared to our last drops, the time required will be a little bit higher, but there will be a lot more rewards, and there will be, as far as like cosmetics, there are more cosmetics as well. I think the cosmetics are really good, as I said. But yeah, I'm really excited about this Twitch drops.
Goblin
I think it'll be really
skins,
hyped to
guys.
go together with the adventure mode releasing. So
Goblin
that's about it
skins.
for the Twitch drops part. As far
Okay.
as the actual schedule, we do plan on releasing a trailer if it is made in time. We will obviously give exact
Wish
dates
goals.
with a timestamp on Discord so everybody knows exactly when it comes out for their own time zone.
Yes.
But
So
yeah,
we can
we'll
watch
be
a
sure
trailer
to
for the
include
game
that
we've already
Discord
played for
announcement
2
pretty
years.
soon.
We've also got some
Okay.
cosmetics that will be available next season. This one I'm going to show off. Since you can't see it, Grayson, I'm going to be showing off the new Gilded Lobby, which I'm gonna be
Gilded
quiet so you guys can
lobby.
hear this.
Oh,
It's
a little
awesome.
goose there.
I love
The
this.
goose poops the eggs. Look
I'll
at the
just try to talk quietly.
golden-
There's a little neat little thing
golden
that happens with this
skelly
lobby that I
skin.
absolutely love. And I know there's some people on here that are already like, I gotta cop this.
Golden Skelly skin.
All
There's
the rich, yeah.
the pouring riches in the background.
Interrupting the music. I love
This looks rad.
This lobby. And you might notice that there's a little guy sitting at the table there. That's a new skin that will also be coming and available with the next season. The
Golden
Gilded Skeleton. He's a
Golden
special
Skelly
guy.
skin.
He's got his own little crown, a nice little emblem on his chest. It is a pretty sweet skin. I've actually seen it in games, and it looks. I mean, you're seeing the preview, but it is like super shiny and golden. It's very cool.
Okay.
So you can expect all that is coming next season. There will be even more stuff that we have not talked about and that we haven't shown. I'm going to pull up the Discord camera here so I can show off. I'm going to pop this stuff in here. You can say hello. He's got a little torch of his own right there. And there's another item that'll also be shown in the corner there next to the Hungering Lantern, which is another
an
new torch.
eyeball torch.
Next season. No confirmation on what the stats are in the skeleton, guys. I know everyone's already saying it's MDR. We don't know yet. At least I don't. But in addition to the in-game cosmetics, there's the Twitch drop. We've got a ton of new stuff for you to cop next season. And on top of that, we also have an upcoming sale that we're very excited to talk about, which is going to start on April 10th and run until the 23rd, and that is going to be 30% off on the game. So if you're looking to pick up a second account or get your friends into the game, it will be 30% off from the 10th to the 23rd. And aside from that, we do have one other announcement. Grayson and I, as well as some of the community team, have been working on some updates to the creator program. I'm not going to go into specific details about it right now because there will be an update on the FAQ. But basically, we're just looking to work more closely with creators and improve the creator program so that we can try to expand it to every region. Right now, it's very difficult for us to work with people outside of the NA and EU areas, but we're trying to make sure that we can include
Terry had to hold that.
well. So give you guys more incentives, give you more to look forward to. So look forward to that. Pretty soon we will do an announcement on the Discord. Grayson, is there anything that you wanted to talk about on the community side?
So we can expect some upcoming community events with this next wipe. As far as the details, I think it would be really cool for us to have some PvE related community events this upcoming season. So we'll have to see what's gonna come.
What the heck does that mean?
All right, well, keep your eyes and ears peeled, folks. We will see you all very soon. That is all for us today, but like I said,
Sneakers.
keep your eyes on the patch notes. I went and looked at what was coming up with the update. We covered some very cool stuff here, but there's plenty more to come that people are going to be very happy about. So keep an eye on
Why
it.
not?
Again, April 10th.
Why not say
maintenance is
more?
Scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. KST, but obviously we know things can change. So we are looking forward to it.
New
Hope you guys
community
are too.
manager
Thank you
incoming.
all for coming tonight. You have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
Thank you all very much, guys.
Bye. A raid? A raid to someone in the community? Help out a streamer? No, right? Because, of course, if you raided someone to help them out, that would be silly. Okay. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Okay. Let me recap. I got a bunch of notes for anyone. Thank you, Steel Club. Very cool. Darn. Right? What's my overall feeling? One of, I don't know, moderate disappointment, I guess? What's the between the lines there? They got the big boys in there to deliver the bad news because at least it came from them. At the very minimum, right? This presentation was a big mixed bag of things to be excited for and things that aren't going to be ready even within timeframes that we thought before were extended. And at a very minimum, the leadership showed their face. So we give them respect for that. That is not easy to do. And big boys know how to show up and deliver bad news themselves. They could have let Odin do that, right? And hidden their face, but they did not. So we respect that. Season of the Wish. Yeah, wish goals, guys. Let's go through my notes. I've got some notes here. I'll go through them. I'm gonna go through just chronologically here, and we can reflect on things as I go through them. A lot of reference to the PvE version of the game as adventure mode. And the first thing that Terry said is it's gonna be more of like a looter shooter, right? Co-op dungeon crawling. So this is the first time I think I've heard Terrence use the term looter shooter, which kind of made me sad because I don't like to hear that term combined with dungeon crawling, right? But whatever, that's just maybe he was just grabbing for some vocab that perhaps I'm reading more into that than I should. It seems that Grayson, Terrence, this is coming from some of the lawsuit related conversation, but they're really holding on to the idea that the first person nature of the game is a differentiating feature. The Dark and Darker is a first person dungeon experience, and that is unique. And maybe that's probably just a hangover of some of the legal conversations. They had to justify why their game was different than other games, and I don't know, I just thought that was weird. That was weird. They wanted it to be a simulator. They wanted it to be like a hardcore, like, you know how like milsim is like hardcore? Military simulation games are like, the damage is very extreme. You have to bandage and stop bleeding and mend fractures and that sort of thing. They wanted this to be a dungeon simulator. That was the goal initially. And now it seems like they have accepted the fact that they are failing at making a hardcore dungeon PvP game. And there's a bit of copium, there's a bit of kind of revisionist history I'm detecting, where they're saying now, you know, there's also some humble pie. To save the game, they need to expand the vision to include a more of a casual PvE adventuring mode with your friends, okay? A place where you can explore the world and learn the game systems before you're thrown in the deep end of the dungeon with the additional challenge of all the PvP. So that makes sense. And again, kudos to them. It's never easy to revise a vision. It's never easy to admit to yourself that you were wrong about something, or that like the thing that you've been working towards is not the thing that everyone wants. So again, credit and respect for that. They still are linked to being a hardcore extraction game, but it's almost like there's going to be two games side by side, right? Now when you choose a map first, so say you choose Goblin Caves, and in the Goblin Caves, once you've chosen the map, then you will be confronted with the option to choose your game mode. So you choose the map first, Goblin Caves, and then there's the Adventure PvE mode. There's a Normals PvP mode. There's a High Roller mode. There's a High Roller mode. The Adventure mode, the Adventure PvE, is trios only. There'll be no solo or duo queue for that. The Normal PvP mode will include gear score 0 to 124. So there's no Squire lobby. It's kind of like you're right in there, right? Who knows if they're going to make adjustments to the gear score rating of some of the most powerful crafted items. We'll see. But they do have some different rewards associated with these levels. So the reason they're doing this, or a positive side effect of why they're doing this, is because they can adjust the loot drop tables based on the mode that you choose. So the adventure mode is trios only, and you'll be able to get greens, blues, maybe the odd purple item from a boss drop or a marvelous chest or a golden chest. The normal PvP dungeon, which is 0 to 124 gear score, will give you access to loot all the way up to legendary. So only legendary drops, again from bosses from golden chests. High Roller, there's two lobbies. There's 0 to 224, and then there's High Roller 224 plus, uncapped. So two different versions of High Roller, and the people who like to do 0 to Hero and High Roller will have access to High Roller immediately. There'll be no gear score limitation. You can go in with 0 into High Roller and just go from there. The 0 to 224 High Roller lobby will not give players a named item drop chance. There's no named there. Again, because they want to fuse more risk with more reward. So if you're going into the uncapped high roller lobby, the most challenging, most oppressive, highest chance of death lobby in the game, that's where you go to get named items. Okay? Cool. They're finally giving Timmy's a space. That's good. I agree. Now, I guess, of course, because gamers are kind of shitheads, right? Each of us are a shithead in our own way. It's true. There's a lot of people that are already gaming out. What is the best way to grief other players in the PvE mode, right? So Ironmace is aware that people are looking to grief other PvEers, and there's anti-PvE griefing systems in the work. We will see what that means. Maybe there's like player clipping won't be a thing, so you can't block people into rooms or something. We'll have to see. They talked a lot about the risk profile, right? Again, they can adjust the drops per level. You get better loot, better crafting material drops at the higher risk environments. So if you're killing Cave Troll in the adventure mode, you're probably not going to get a pelt, right? If you're killing the Cave Troll in the normals lobby, you're probably not going to get a pelt. It's only in the high roller lobbies you're probably going to have access to the wolf skins, right? The wolf skins, you got to go to high roller for that. Indirect changes in PvE will make a difference in PvP. So I think what they're trying to say is as they tune up the dungeon for the people just adventuring, looking to, you know, just chill out with their buds, some of those changes are going to trickle up and make the dungeon experience better in PvP. I imagine it will. That's a positive side effect. High Roller is the most competitive experience. It offers the best rewards. There are much lower survival rates. It is actively pushing players towards PvP. And currently, in the previous wipe, in the current wipe we're in, the rewards these guys feel don't match the risk. And so they're going to be changing it so that if you go into the uncapped high roller environment, that the rewards you get are going to be, you know, I was going to say commiserate, but that's not right. Going to be comparable to the risk you're taking. There's also new mechanics for drops in HR for uniques. So it sounded like there's like a high roller boss spawning change. Access to the boss or bosses is changing. Apparently, mini bosses and other items you find in raid can be combined to create was casually referred to as a boss key. So the boss key will be used to spawn a boss of your choosing. So you can kind of adventure around the map. If you kill a mini boss, if you open a certain chest and you get a certain reagent or a crafting item, and you combine those things, you make a boss key, and then you know that key will spawn Lich, or you know that key will spawn Warlord. So now you have the option to spawn a boss of your choosing, gives the player more agency over which boss comes in, and they say this will help the economy. Luke Nay, sorry buddy, can't just say hi, good night everyone. I want to get through this, and I'm just plowing through. Again, maybe if people are grinding for the uniques they're looking for, there's less kind of like spillover stuff. There's less kind of fluff in the marketplace because people are just killing Lich because Lich is there, but the Lich drops, people don't want them as much as the Warlord drops. I'm fuzzy on this. I'm not a very good economist. But apparently they claim that having more player agency over which boss spawns will help the economy. So between the lines, they are aware that there's issues with the economy. They are aware that gold inflation is a challenge. That's interesting. I didn't put that together until just now. They also, at the end of the talk, mentioned there are new artifacts coming, which is cool, because it sounds like if you make it to the end of the map in uncapped 225, you've got a pretty good chance at a named item. Combine that with more named items being added to the game, and that sounds like fun. That's cool. Great. We'd love to see new content that I think is material. And new artifacts, in my opinion, is material content to the game, which is great. There's a return of the Expressman. I imagine this is to help incentivize people to go deeper in High Roller. I think most people like the expressman. I think it's, especially if the first couple of weeks are solo self-found, that's going to help people, you know, gear up and preserve a lot of loot, especially early in the wipe. New monsters. They showed new monsters, 2 new monsters. A big mommy milker and a 3-headed dog. And then Odin erroneously said these new monsters are using the new monster system, which is like a new approach, like kind of a ground-up approach, more of kind of like an ability and action set modular approach to monster construction. And then he was corrected. They said, no, actually, these are just original style monsters where we bought the asset, we do the IK, we say what their movesets are going to be. It's a manual assignment of things rather than a programmatic assignment of things. They said the monster guys, the guys who work on all the PvE monsters, are not coders, and they know the mob stuff is not the best. I think that by this point, right, a lot of the mob AI, a lot of the mobs have not changed since the earliest playtests. And this stuff is getting hella stale, especially after a couple of seasons of full-on AP grinding to get Demigod, right? You see enough of the same dang mob animations and the same brain-dead mob behavior. Like, they know that they're lagging here. And so it sounds like, again, they're getting ready to start on making a new system for mobs going forward. But at least it's on the radar. At least that, right? There's a new craftable spell book, the Tome of Sheol. Not even Odin know how to say it, so I'm not gonna say. Commence to start. It's a wish goal, guys. We're wish casting. New quests and new quest types are coming. PvE will make quest progress faster, so they wanted to increase the amount of quests so that there's more things to do, I guess. The quests will also start immediately at the beginning of wipe. So that is April 10th. Like, there will be quests you can start on from the get-go, right? The content inside of each quest will be slightly more, perhaps, was alluded to, and the amount of quests overall will be increased. There's also a new merchant, and that new merchant will have quests, and the quests will go for many, many weeks up until right before the end of wipe. So it sounds like there's always going to be quest things to do, okay? The last quests in the wipe will be a lot harder than they are currently. I'm not sure if harder equals grindier, like what their definition of hard is. Is hard like, you know, kill Ghost King 50 times? Because that's kind of hard. Or is hard something that's actually hard and not just grindy? To be seen. They confirmed that the wipe will happen, well, they said that the wipe will happen at 3 p.m. KST, which is 6 a.m. Universal Time, which is sometime in the night here in the East Coast of North America. So, grains of salt all around, who knows? But it does sound like in and around the night of April the 10th, if you're here on the East Coast of North America, you can expect the wipe. Who knows how long the downtime will be? So perhaps it's safe to assume that by the 11th of April, the game will be good to go. Who knows? There are Twitch drops scheduled for the 12th to the 23rd of April. They revealed some of the cosmetics. There's a Hungering Lantern. There's a Golden Skelly skin. I feel like if there's a big Twitch drop event, we should all go raid Augie-san. Because I would not be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for the educational content, the inspiration from Augie. And I feel like no one, in my opinion, in the Melee community at least, is more deserving of a big old Blinn raid, right? Maybe for Twitch drops, we'll just raid them out, right? We'll hang it with Augie, we'll get our Twitch drops, and maybe we'll get him in a few games too, right? Let's get Augie in here. Anyway, Augie's a great guy. He's been sticking with it, so we're gonna give him some love, okay? Awesome. We'll announce that closer to the drops. We'll do a big old brigade. Augie is amazing, I agree. The guy's rad. They're gonna share a new trailer if it's ready. Right, so I mean, it gives you some indication of what the heck is going on. There's going to be more community events that are PvE related, maybe, right? We'll see. Thank you, Clippy, for the shout out to Augie. Let's pin that up here. Let's pin that up. Okay, I'm going to share my other notes here, and then I'll do my closing thoughts, right? Or my last little bit. What else do we got here? We got a bingo. They're revising the vision. They are looking to improve Arena. They're going to add a solo queue. So it's still going to be 3v3 Arena, but it'll be a special separate Arena queue for people that are just queuing solo. So, I mean, that sounds good. And if it makes it easier for them to prevent the dang class stacking, which has just been a scourge of Arena, then I'm all for that. SDF is the only one who can fix it. This is related to no guild hall. Not even at wipe, no guild hall this wipe, which is super sad because they friggin' teased it, right? They went out on a line and said, hey, guild halls, social space. They showed some screen caps, right? Some mock-ups. And we got excited. Everyone peaked up. There was a peaking of interest, right? When they said guild hall social space. And now they say, no, it's actually a lot more complicated than we thought. And SDF is the only one who can work on it. And it's going to take him 3 months. So there's going to be no guild halls at all this season. So we have to make our own dang social space as we've been doing it, right? Sucks. PvE loot allowed in PvP? Yes. So they're addressing this by making it so that the drop rates in the PvE mode never go above purple, which is fine. I feel like that's fine. That's no big deal. We're gathering data. There's still talk about, like, you know, they're just still figuring things out related to Arena, related to, you know, of course they are, right? But we knew they were going to say this. Anyway, that's the bingo. What else? No water map at wipe. This could be, we might not see water map until the end of the season, to be honest. They claim that there's tech debt, right? The reason why they couldn't do the water map is because they've been working on other tech debt, right? Whatever that means. They didn't say what they were working on instead. They just said that tech debt has prevented us from. Anyway, when we saw water map screenshots 2 tavern tables ago. So again, just expectation management is a skill, right? Especially when you have a giant audience, right? Whether you're talking to shareholders or board members or your superiors at work or your parents or your audience of hundreds of thousands of gamers who are still half paying attention to this game, you have to manage expectations. You don't tease something until you've got a plan for that thing's execution. And I feel like this is a big mistake because it's just disappointing. And if there's one thing this game does not need, it's more reasons to feel disappointed. So L, Ironmace. Leaderboard changes. I'm not so, invested in this. They understand that AP sucks and that AP is not an indication of player skill. They want to make a change, but they don't know how to do it yet. This is, again, a wish goal for them to figure out how to actually have some sort of ranked progress. They're thinking maybe they're going to do leaderboard changes by mid-wipe. They're very excited about the future of Dad, right? Of course you say this. So, closing thoughts. Let's see. Overall, the presentation, Terrence's demeanor, he was downtrodden, right? There was a lack of energy. There was a lack of excitement. They know they are under-delivering, is what his body language tells me. He knows, right? And there's always an excuse. It's the legal distractions. There's an office renovation. We have tech debt. Things are more complex than we thought. These are issues, but again, it's no excuse for setting expectations. They try to paper over the issues with cosmetics. Hey, if we buy a few more assets and we put them in the game, is it going to be enough distraction to convince people to stick around for however much time is required for us to get our shit together? I wonder. You can answer that question for yourself. This is a private equation a private calculus that we all have internally. How much can we be distracted by chasing cosmetics to paper over the fact that the game balance, the combat system, the move speed meta, the other myriad issues faced by Dad is chasing a cosmetic enough to help me hold my nose through some of that stuff. Those of you who for the first time pushed through to get to demigod or as close as you could, right? How motivated are you going to be to just boot up the new season and see that it's basically the same and that now you're just doing it again and you just did it, you know, for like a few weeks solid, right? Same dumb AI, the same maps, right? And now you got there and you got your cosmetic and you can worship your friends, right? Are you going to be motivated to do that again for something else? For a lantern? I wonder. That's your decision to make. The head fake on the social space is the biggest thing for me. I think that was just such an L, because one thing that would hold this game together is a little more of an official capacity for us to be social together in game and share resources in game. We're hacking it right now. We're using Discord. We're using third-party tools to be a community, right? What is missing is a game-sanctioned way to do that. And they teased it and they set an expectation and they're not delivering on it. And as a result, Terrence was embarrassed and sad and they ran away. They went to another massage appointment or wherever they had to get to. And now we're left to wonder if this game is gonna, you know, sustain our attention early wipe or whatever. They said mob AI has changed and new mobs and Expressman is back. We'll see. We'll see. The 2 new mobs they added, right? We'll see. They showed 4. Yeah, absolutely. Sir Lansome, correct. You are correct. Okay, but again, my feeling here, my takeaway from this presentation is based on the contents of this presentation. And so if you want me to feel net positive, if you want me to feel excited for the thing, give me a reason to feel excited, right? Give me a reason. 7 new mobs, SDF dropped it in Korean. Well, they didn't say it in bloody English, did they? Right? Maybe, hey, Wipe Night comes and I read the patch notes and there's more things to be excited about. Great. But this is like a marketing initiative, right? This is a community outreach initiative. The idea is to excite people. You don't excite people by giving them bad news and then say, don't worry, more good news is coming. You excite people by saying, hey, we've got some disappointing news, but here's actually all the stuff that you can be excited for. And then Terry was like, oh no, SDF just said how many new mobs. Making us edge off hopium only. They need to shift their vision towards the consumer needs. Content creators carry games, YouTube communities and videos carry the game, but very little quality of life for content creators. Marketing needs a shift. Well, the Twitch drops are coming back, and at least they're smart about that, right? And we'll hang it with Augie, and that'll be fun. As in terms of like the quality of the presentation, and like if you want people to feel positive going away from it, you have to give them the material to feel positive. And vaporware isn't enough, especially with the track record from the team. So, doors got to change for sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yes. But at this point, you know, I said it on Monday, and this will be the last thing I say, and then we'll just casually wrap it up. They're not shy to make certain big sweeping changes, right? They're not shy to remove the move speed penalty from double jump. They're not shy to put in Fog of War and High Roller. They're not shy. There's a whole bunch of things I could name where they do something that they nerfed the magic power curve, right? They took Chris Dagger away from the Warlock a while ago, but like there are big things that they can do that they have done. But then there's all these things that like people have been crying for, rightly so, for so long. Movement speed, true damage, door play, instant transform, Phantomize needs charges or something, right? They choose not to do that. They choose to keep the crappy door play in the game. They choose to keep the crappy instant transform in the game. It's a choice. And for every patch that goes by where they don't listen and respond and like revise the vision, because we know they can, based on the overwhelming feedback, the more disappointing it gets. You look at a game like Rust and the Rust movies, and cool editing ability with storytelling makes the game feel 1,000 times better than it is. That's all the marketing Rust needs. Right. I used to watch, is it Yexom? Y-E-X-O-M? Early pandemic. I watched a lot of his Rust. Everybody knows in Rust. Everybody knows in Rust. And he would do all these different, like, you know, snake-based challenges, right? Did Sorcery and Legacy die? Did Legacy, Steel, and Sorcery die? Legacy, Steel, and Sorcery has had a failed early access period. They charged too much for a game that did not have enough polish or content depth, and they botched a bunch of the class balancing, and it chased everyone away. So it's not dead. Legacy has a big content patch with a new class. The Wizard is coming out in late May, and there'll be another map, and there'll be other stuff. They're very much just at the beginning, but the Legacy Early Access was a flop, and they're trying to reframe it as like, oh, we didn't want it to succeed. We wanted to keep the player base small so we can make changes. But early on, they had Asmon stream the game. They were sharing on Discord. Another all-time high. We got 3,000 people in the game. It's our best day yet. And you don't do that kind of thing unless you actually want like a shit ton of people playing the game, right? And so they're kind of revising their tune because literally only 100 people are playing that game right now. It was dead at the price tag for me. I can tolerate a price tag, but it's got to have polish. It's got to be there, and it was not there. It was not there. I'm sad about the Swarm and High Roller. Really thought we evolved beyond that mechanic in the dungeon. Yeah. I didn't know they paid up Asmon to go advertise it. Now, they didn't pay Asmon, but Asmon is part of OTK. And OTK is an investor in Notorious Studios. So OTK, and by extension Asmon, have a vested interest in the success of the game. And so it's probably part of the investor package where at early access release, Asmon will stream it, right? And there'll be 40,000 people watching the stream and whatever it is. So it wasn't sponsored content, but he's a part owner of the game, actually. So they lost me when the stamina mechanic was just a Breath of the Wild feature. Interesting. I don't mind the stamina mechanic. I don't mind it. I thought it was interesting. They lost me when they released Warrior Deathball and the game became a crappy melee ugh DPS race with no counterplay. Especially at a time like this when people are choosing between groceries and entertainment. Yeah, there's 1,000 different games to play, many of them free. Agreed. Had Legacy had a free early access with a paid option to support the devs, right? Oh man. We would not be playing Dad right now. I guarantee that. We would be playing Legacy. I would not be like playing other games. I would be playing Legacy right now if it was free. But they made a mistake there. And now they're paying for it. So 25 USD for the cheapest option is pricey. Yeah. Especially when in this economy. Anyway, guys. Okay. Well, I was going to say that Ironmace devcast was worse news than I was expecting. But that's only because they only really shared the bad news. They didn't share more good news than bad news. And they could have revealed more, but they didn't. And so that's the kind of feeling that I'm left with. I'm pretty sure I paid $30 for Dad. There's other tiers. There's other tiers of it. Then they added the Hold the Line edition later on. Oh, wait. For Dad. Sorry, yes. I got crossed up there. I'll never be angry at them for increasing the amount that they share. Yeah. You know, they could have. They could have. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up there. We saw it. We were here. There were less jokes because there was more content this time, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Sucks there wasn't more good news, but fun watch here. We're still going to give it a go, you know. Dad is not dead in my book. We're still going to hit the ground running next wipe. We're going to do the best we can with the tools that we have. And then after next wipe, if things aren't looking good for Dark and Darker, well, maybe then it is time to look for greener pastures in earnest. But they get one more wipe. I'm surprised they didn't mention the solo self-found. Maybe that's because they don't know what the heck they're going to do, right? Maybe it's because it's not confirmed. Who knows? Probably going to watch the VOD. Razzle, if you just watch the last 30 minutes, I recap everything, and you'll catch it there. Last 30 minutes, Razzle, that's your homework. Dark and Darker will always have a place in my heart. I'll be grinding PvE daily. I don't care. We'll be playing it. We'll be streaming it. But if they totally mess up this season, well then, it'll be hard to win my affection back, I think. Other games will be off the ground by then, and Dad will really have to compete at that stage. We'll leave it there, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, for a social stream, a little variety stream. Until then, all the best. Bye, guys. Mwah. Bye.